This is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you coming from the backyard garden. And what we have here is my raised bed, and it's a perennial raised bed. So these are some plants that I really don't have to plant or replant every year. They keep coming back on their own, whether you live in the desert with 114-degree days and gets almost down to snowing and maybe even snows once a winter for a day, if that. But it gets pretty cold here. But these guys will grow above the ground all winter long in Las Vegas and many other, mild climates. But that being said, this is a perennial crop anywhere pretty much in the US from zone 3 to zone 9. So what this means is, yes, even if you live in Wisconsin, you could grow these guys, and these guys are perennial. What does that mean? That means you guys plant these just once, and then they're gonna grow for you, and they're gonna make some onions for you. And what these are called are perennial onions, also known as tree onions, or topset onions, also known as Egyptian walking onions. Remember? Walk like an Egyptian. My arm's still messed up, so I can't do it perfectly. But any case, what these guys are, they make a wealth of food for you guys to eat. And let me go ahead and explain the different kinds of food and also why they're called tree or walking onions. First thing is they're called tree onions because they actually get quite tall. This is almost pushing 3 feet here. And if we let this grow, these guys will actually grow it's called a top set. So these guys on the tops of them actually produce little onion-like bulbs. You could actually use these like shallots in your cooking, but even more valuable to me, instead of using them to eat, is actually you can replant these guys, and look, they're sprouting back up. So if I let this grow, it might grow another whole segment up here and just even get taller. So that's totally amazing. Now, they're called walking onions because what happens is at the end of the season, they'll actually bud, shoot up, and what happens is they fall over. As you guys can see, here's some falling over onto the ground here. And what would normally happen is if this was like, good ground to grow in, these onions would actually start set root and then actually come up. So literally what they're gonna do is they're gonna grow, fall, plant themselves, grow, fall, plant themselves, and literally walk across your yard. So they're not super invasive because you can, take care of them and handle them before they get out of control, not like some things that really take over. So don't be too concerned. None of them have actually come up on their own for me, so that's definitely a good thing. I want to show you guys actually harvesting these guys. Probably about the end of summer or so, these guys are ready to be harvested. So what we're gonna do is just take a container here, and we're just gonna basically break off the tops and break off these onions. And once again, you can't eat these guys or actually use them for seed stock to replant for next year. Now, besides just the top sets that you can use for shallots, what's also edible on the plant are 2 more things, and that's why I like this plant, man. You literally plant it once, you'll have onions all year long. If you live where it snows, then what's gonna happen is at the frost, these guys aren't gonna make it, but the bulbs underneath the ground are gonna stay alive, and then right as it thaws out, first thing in the springtime, they're gonna actually shoot up out the ground and start making more onions for you. Now when they shoot out the ground, they're gonna look like this because I let this crop grow, and they basically seeded, went to seed, and then they came back. So check it out. Here's some new plants. We're gonna go ahead and trim this whole bed out of the mature crop, but we're gonna leave the new plants, and check it out. What does that look like? These look like little onion chives, and let me tell you, I could smell them, and they smell like onion chives too. So you can't actually just pick and eat the little chives. I would encourage you guys to just pick the little small ones like that. The smaller they are, the lighter they'll be, not as hot and spicy or whatever, or pungent maybe. Man, that's a nice green onion flavor in a perennial yet. So now we're gonna go ahead and harvest an onion bulb and see what they look like, because I've never done this before. So we're just gonna go down to the stalk of one of the ones from last year, and we're gonna carefully try to dig it up, pull it up, see what's going on. There you go. There's a little onion bulb you can't eat. These guys don't get super big, but nonetheless, definitely an onion you can eat and enjoy. So that's why I like these onions. I mean, they're so useful. You got 3 different ones, the bulb underneath the ground, you got the top sets, and the chives all in one. Now, yes, this is not a sweet onion by any means, so you might like onions and then maybe you won't get kissed afterwards. So next, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and I'm gonna harvest all the different top sets. All right, so I'm finishing up harvesting my top sets, and check it out. I got a nice little container full of top sets. Now, I started these top sets through top sets that were given to me by a fellow gardener in Las Vegas. So this episode is dedicated to him. It's Gene. And if you want to check the video down below. It's basically growing if you rent, and growing your backyard garden if you rent. He did an amazing job. This episode is dedicated to Gene because now I'm able to pass along these walking onions to you guys. If you're interested in purchasing some of these walking onions so that you guys could grow these very walking onions in your garden, once again, please check the link below to purchase some so you guys could plant these perennial walking onions. Once again, zone 3 to 9. These guys are originally from Canada, not even Egypt. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, keep on growing. All right, this is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. This is going to be a fun one at that. As you guys can see, I'm still recovering from my broken arm here, and